My vision is to leave a legacy behind for my kids and generations to follow. How am I going to do that? I must organize my thoughts, I must organize my strategies, I must organize my systems, which I've done. Secondly, I must film everything in an orderly fashion so it tells a story and it guides you through a path of how I do what I do. Then I must duplicate it by teaching other instructors how to teach what I'm doing along with the video content that's going to guide the instructors as well, and then spread my knowledge around the world. When I started wrestling, I didn't even know what wrestling was, to be honest with you. I like pro wrestling. I thought we were going to be, when I walked into practice, it looked similar to this, right? Wall mats and a mat on the ground. I'm like, where's the ring? I had no expectations of myself. You got to understand my mindset when I was a kid. I had no expectations of myself at all. Pretty low self-esteem, pretty antisocial, in a way, socially awkward.
He was timid, and he was kind of like a mama's boy in a way, but I remember one time in practice where he was wrestling and he headbutted with somebody, and he lost half a tooth in the front, and boy, he started to cry. And I go, whoa, it's not that bad. Everybody loses a tooth in sports, He says, oh no, that's not it, coach. My mother's gonna kill me. He was worried about his mother, And so he was an interesting person from the very beginning, I could say that.
In fact, it was kind of funny to see him, how aggressive he was on the mat. And then he got off the mat, hi sis, that kind of stuff.
So I did the first year of wrestling. I did okay. I definitely won a lot more than I lost, but just like a junior varsity wrestler. My junior year, I ended up a match away from placing at CIF, which is basically the first level. Make it out of league finals, you go into CIF, then the Masters tournament, which is a state qualifying tournament, and then the state tournament. And I made it to basically the placing. Had I won, I would have placed. And I just spoke with my old coach not that long, and I told him that and he remembered. He goes, that was your trigger point. That was the point where it all clicked. And he looked me in the eye and he goes, you're afraid to win. And I sunk, and he was right. I never realized, I didn't think I was good enough to win, even though I was. And I told myself from that moment until the next year, I'm going to wrestle the entire year. I'm not going to take the summer off. I'm not going to take any time off.
He saw things a little bit differently all the time. And Adam picked that up right away. But I would show a move and then he would do it a little bit different. And I couldn't, I go, well, that's not the way it is, Javi. This is the way it is. He says, well, it feels better this way, kind of thing like that. And so I went with it. I go, okay. I go, let's go this way instead. Let's go backwards and see what happens. And he took like a single leg takedown and changed it around and made a whole series off of it. And I think that's pretty much his trademark, saying, why not this way?
I wanted to win 50 matches and place a state. I won 49 matches, and it was one match, right, like double overtime from placing at state. So I thought it was a pretty successful year. And somewhere in that middle, something switched to where I wasn't good enough to losing is not an option. At first I was wrestling. Wrestling's normal, right? Then I did jiu-jitsu. Well, it's a little bit of a step up in the weird direction, right? In the abnormal direction. Then I did a couple of competitions where it was open hand, like slap fighting. Well, that's a little bit worse. Then it was, okay, we're doing it with punches. And then we're doing it with elbows and knees. So you see what I'm saying? So it was kind of like a steady progression.
But he didn't want to come around and tell me that he was getting into MMA, you know, because he thought that I didn't like it. You know, he cared what I thought of it, and he didn't. Once he got good, he goes, "Coach, come over," you know. But at first, he didn't want to tell me, like, tell his parents he's going to leave, you know, or something like that.
It was one thing led to the next. You know, if you told me I was going to be fighting in a cage, I would have told you no way. I'm not really one of those guys. I'm not like a super violent person. I'm not, you know, I'm not. So my idea when I fought was, I'm going to take you down and I'm going to tap you. Simple. If you can stop me from doing that, I'll fall on my backup skills, which was my striking and all that, right?
And my brother fought the best in the world. So as he fought and won, it was like he had to work so hard that when he got that, he became more humble. And he worked very hard. What he has earned with the sweat of his brow. He has worked hard.
By the time guys could finally, and this is at a very high level, by the time guys could finally stop my takedowns, my stand-up was already 10 years developed. People thought all you got to do with him is just stand up and knock him out. It's so easy. Not as easy as people thought. So I had stage 3C colon cancer, almost stage 4 apparently.
It was rough. It was really rough. Just the news hit us really hard because he's always been an athlete. And we were never expecting this to happen, not to him, to anybody else but him. And we just said, whatever it is, we'll do it together. And it was a rough, rough beginning.
When I found out, it was denial at first. It's not cancer. And then you find out it is. It's like, okay, well, how do you fix it? And then it's like, well, surgery. It's like, okay, I had surgery, got through the surgery, which pain level was high. After surgery, it was high. Basically what they do is they take your colon and then they just cut the piece that has it, throw that away, and then stitch back together what's left. So you make it through that and you go back to see your doctor and it's like, yeah, everything was great. Okay, cool, now what? It's like, well, now you gotta go do chemo. The second they told me that, I'm like, I'm not doing chemo. I'd come across the Gerson therapy doing research for fighting, nutritional research. So I knew that I knew it was out there. They don't really tell you what it entails and how difficult it is and how much work it is. The therapy is nuts, man. The therapy is so much work. Every single thing that you eat has to be prepared. You can't make juices for the day and drink them throughout the day. That'd be sweet, right? No, it's press, drink, press, drink. So, you know, when I was at the height, I think I was doing 12 or 13 a day. That's every 45 minutes, you got to get up and do a juice. It takes you 15 minutes to prep. Supplementation is another problem. I gotta take supplements 13, 14 times a day. Essentially what this diet does is it floods your body with nutrients through the juices in the food and the supplementation. And then the coffee enemas pull all the toxins out. So in with the good, out with the bad. So it kind of cycles and it cleans you from the inside out. And it gets to the point where your body is so alkaline, your system is so alkaline that there's no possible way that the cancer can live, and it basically filters it out. But yeah, once you start getting into it, you start realizing that there's not enough hours in a day, so then you start cutting time wherever you can. And my sister and I basically developed the entire system of being able to make it sustainable for somebody who has an active life.
So the beginning was very rough, and especially the beginning of the diet. I was in his kitchen 12 hours at a time every day, because until I got the routine down of what had to happen and how. Like, there were times that he would say, I can't do this anymore. And I'd be like, you mean to tell me that I'm here 12 hours a day and you're gonna quit? You quit and I'm gonna whoop you. I'm gonna whoop you. You can't quit. I don't even know how I made it through. If it wasn't for Jesus, I don't think I would have made it through, because I had to be strong and I was falling apart. I was falling apart inside, but yet I had to keep pushing through and be strong for him.
I wouldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without her. My mom and my sister, I couldn't have done it. It would have been physical. It would have been impossible. There isn't enough time in the day. So she still does my soups, does all my greens, goes to the store, helps me with the kids, does whatever I need, helps me with the academy, runs most of my errands, pays my bills.
We were struggling because he had left, he had filed a divorce, and he had nothing. And when we saw the support of the students, if it wasn't for the students, we wouldn't have made it financially. One of the students' wives, one of his friends' wives, started the GoFundMe. Thanks to the students, we were able to, buy all the equipment we needed. The equipment was very expensive. Everything for the therapy is very expensive. And it was overwhelming. I mean, we can never thank the students enough how everybody got together and helped us get through this.
So let me give you a timeline of the way this went down. Mid-June, I got diagnosed with cancer. I left my academy end of June. Last day of June. It's my last day I taught. July 15th, I believe, I had surgery. August, sometime in August, I don't exactly know when, I started therapy. October, I was healed. Within 2 to 3 months of me being on the diet, 2.5 months, my blood work came up, no more cancer.
Oh my gosh, on the 3rd month, because he had to do blood work every month. And on the 3rd month, when they told us, because when we started, he had less than 40% liver function. The doctor told him, if you don't do chemotherapy now, you're gonna die. You're committing suicide. And 3 months into the diet, we got the results. And it was normal.
Six months later, I've been stable, and I've been stable since April. The diet is radical. But I was incredibly disciplined, and I did it exactly the way they said to do it. Exactly the way they said to do it. And I got the results ridiculously fast. But it was my commitment and my sister's commitment to it that allowed for that to happen. Now, cancer is rampant because of the environment that we live in. I think as a society, most of us are being poisoned. I think the way the food people eat, the way things are advertised, the fluoride in the water, the fluoride you brush your teeth with, it's all poison. Unless you really know what nutrition is, unless you really know what you're doing, you're gonna get sick. For those people who get sick, what are they told? They're told to go get poisoned some more by going to get chemo. That is gonna kill them ultimately. People don't understand, people aren't educated to what nutrition is and how your body works and how your body can actually heal itself. People don't want to do the work that's required. This diet is a tremendous amount of work and it can be costly, but there is a way.
I talked to him a few times over the phone, you know, and he told me the things that he was doing. My thoughts were confirmed. You know, he's the toughest man on earth. To be able to fight something like this and beat it, he showed me, and I felt it, what he's made of. Well, I just want to say to Javier, you know, you're doing the right thing, absolutely.
So jiu-jitsu is not just something that I do on the mat. It's in my mind. It's a mindset that I have throughout my entire life. Brazilian jiu-jitsu at its core is the self-defense martial art. Most schools now practice the sportive aspect. So there's a split between self-defense and sport. I think jiu-jitsu is for everyone in a sense that it fills a lot of gaps, right? For the timid person, it gives you confidence. For the strong person, it humbles you, right? For the weak person, it makes you strong. For the strong person, it makes you intelligent. So, depending on what you're lacking in your life, why do people start? Oh, because I got attacked. Oh, because I want to win a world championship. Oh, because I'm scared. I want to build some confidence. Oh, because I want to build my fitness. Everyone's got whatever reason they had. My method of teaching is incredibly unique. I've taken both sides of the Gracie family. I got my black belt from Carlson's side, and I trained under the Gracie Academy for 10 years as well. So 10 and 10. And I've taken that Carlson's aggressive style and the Gracie Academy's very meticulous teaching methodologies and kind of blended them together into my own kind of hybrid, right? So I take very advanced things, but I'm able to break things down in a very simplistic way. I think that is by far my greatest advantage over anybody. What sets strike-based jiu-jitsu or my brand of jiu-jitsu apart from everybody? Several things. Number one, curriculum. My curriculum-based system. There's a curriculum for the kids, there's curriculum for women specifically, there's curriculum for beginners, and then there's curriculum for advanced. Every step of your journey, I will plug you into a particular curriculum and then build you from there. That's the first thing. The second thing is within the curriculum itself is the aspect of strikes. At the highest level, I've done it all. So I wrestled at a very high level. I've done jiu-jitsu with the gi at a high level. I've done jiu-jitsu without the gi at the highest level. I've, fought MMA at the highest level. So taking every aspect of the things I've learned, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, and blending them together in a very seamless, efficient, and and deadly way. I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first and foremost. I would like to thank my family, my mother, for her financial, spiritual, and emotional guidance. I would also like to thank my sister for being my right hand throughout this process. I would also like to thank my children for their love and support throughout this entire process. I would also like to thank Steve and Jennifer Hordinsky for all their love and support, and also for starting the GoFundMe, which funded all of the equipment for my therapy. And I would also like to thank my students for all their love and support throughout this entire thing. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart.